Washington authorities executed one of the largest drug busts in state history. We look into the details of the operation tonight.
Rainy and very mild weather will continue through Christmas Day, but I am tracking the chance for a little bit of snow Friday night before things cool down and dry out for the rest of the weekend.
As the Epstein files continue to slowly trickle out, Congress members look to seek legal action against the Department of Justice.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. And happy Christmas Eve. I'm Regan Gallo. Mark is off for the holiday. And we are taking a look at downtown Spokane right now. Whether you're baking some Christmas cookies, maybe seeing family, maybe you're finally wrapping presents, I don't know. I hope you are all having a safe and fun holiday before we get to Christmas tomorrow. One thing I'm looking forward to is Stranger Things. The next part comes out, so I am personally very excited about that. And as we're looking out outside, we're wondering what weather could be. So we have Michelle Boss in at our indoor weather center right now. Michelle, as people are getting festive throughout tonight and tomorrow, what should we expect? I know no white Christmas, however, maybe a wet Christmas?
Yeah, I know a lot of people had their Christmas wish for some snow, and unfortunately, that's not going to be delivered. We've had some very mild temperatures today. In fact, only 2 degrees off breaking the record high for today, which was 55. We topped out at 53, but we've cooled off dramatically. Much of the inland Northwest has cooled off dramatically over the last hour or so. We have a little push of some cooler air with the wind shift, and so now in Spokane we've dropped about 8 degrees to 46, and we do have some colder air in parts of the inland Northwest. Sandpoint only 37, Wenatchee only 34, Lewiston, which is now 48 degrees, they made it up to 57 degrees this afternoon. So nearly a record-breaking Christmas for temperatures, warm temperatures. We do still have a little bit of wet weather out there, another band of rain pushing through right now. Then we'll get a little bit of a break, but it does look like more wet weather is on the way for Christmas Day. Here's a look at the next 12 hours. Some showers through the early evening, cloudy skies, maybe even some fog tomorrow morning, but it's going to be a very mild Christmas Day as well. Not quite as warm as today, but still more than 10 degrees above average with highs in the 40s. Turning breezy on Friday as much colder air moves in. We may get a little bit of snow Friday night before things dry out, but getting much colder for the weekend with highs only around freezing.
Thank you, Michelle. Switching gears here, a Spokane man accused of allegedly sexually assaulting a woman and exposing himself to a child here in Spokane has been arrested in Connecticut. The Spokane Police Department Special Victims Unit began investigating the allegations back in July. Earlier this month, a warrant was issued for the arrest of 42-year-old Ryan Cheek. SPD learned he left Spokane returning to his home state of Connecticut. He was arrested and is expected to be extradited to Spokane to face charges. And Spirit Lake Police, with the help of the Bonner County Sheriff's Department, have identified and interviewed the suspect involved in a home invasion early this morning. A homeowner at a residence in the 5900 block of Washington Street confronted a suspect who had entered their home. After authorities were called, the suspect then fled, traveling west towards 6th Avenue. The suspect is reported to be a white male. He could be about 5'10" to 6 feet tall with a thick build. He may also have scruffy facial hair with dark hair and a military-style buzz cut. Spirit Lake Police thank the public for its help. And authorities arrested 4 men for allegedly breaking into multiple fraternities and stealing items on the University of Idaho campus. 3 of the men were U of I students and fraternity members of Theta Chi fraternity. Early Sunday morning, Moscow police say they were called to a burglary in progress at the Phi Delta Theta fraternity. 3 people who were in the house at the time heard 2 males rummaging through the rooms. The witnesses confronted the burglars and the suspects fled the scene. They were later caught and charged with burglary. A memorial service for the Washington State Trooper who died while on duty after being struck by 2 vehicles has been set for Saturday. WSP is working closely with Trooper Tara Marissa Guting's family to hold an intimate family-focused service. Space is expected to be limited. The event will be live streamed online for the public, and the family wishes to thank the public for their condolences and the widespread outpouring of support. Flags across Washington, including here in Spokane, will be lowered to half staff starting Friday to honor her life. And one of the biggest drug busts in Washington history and the biggest ever in King County happened earlier this month. More than 200 pounds of drugs and tens of thousands of dollars in cash were seized. Investigators say it was the final move in a cartel-linked operation spanning multiple counties. Today, Bridget Chavez with our Seattle sister station has the exclusive look.
You're looking at the largest drug bust in King County history.
The culmination of about 3 months of work for our special emphasis team.
The King County Sheriff's Office calls this the final chapter in an investigation called Operation Eastbound and Down. It targeted a Sinaloa cartel-linked network that allegedly moved drugs across King, Snohomish, and Skagit counties.
There's methamphetamine as well as heroin, about $89,000 in cash.
The Special Emphasis Team identified a regional supplier based in Linwood with help from K9 Quinn.
He's a wonderful asset for this team.
They built a case to serve a search warrant on December 17th. That's when deputies seized 214 pounds of meth, 5 pounds of heroin, and over $89,000 in cash.
And all of this wasn't found in secret compartments. They were found in onion boxes and in baggies that you find at the grocery store for produce, plus Ziploc baggies.
The suspect, Abraham Ortiz Ayala, is now in custody at the Snohomish County Jail. He's charged with 4 counts of possession of a controlled substance with intent to manufacture or deliver. He's being held on $1 million bail. Prosecutors say he is in the highest tier of drug distributors in the state. The sheriff says this seizure alone has an estimated street value of $2 million.
This is saving lives. So people aren't able to use these drugs because they are off the street.
Over the course of the entire operation, authorities seized nearly 300 pounds of meth, 22 pounds of fentanyl powder, 2 pounds of cocaine, and 12 pounds of heroin. They made 6 arrests, seized a vehicle, and confiscated more than $229,000 in drug proceeds. Sheriff Tyndall says this case is about more than numbers.
We have a large number of overdoses still in King County. To date, a little less than 900, 14 last week. That's too many.
All of that evidence is now in the hands of prosecutors, and there still could be more charges and more arrests to come as this continues to develop. Reporting in Seattle, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
Still more to come here on KREM 2 News at 5. In just 3 minutes, Democrats in Congress say they're planning legal action if the Department of Justice does not release the remaining Jeffrey Epstein files in the coming days. We hear the latest from Capitol Hill. And later, find out how Spokane small businesses are feeling as Christmas shopping comes to a close.